Recently I saw this clip from Street Fighter League Japan. Luke gets a full jump in combo, and then a small combo in the corner, and a back throw to stun. Then they take the round with another jump in combo. Nearly everything goes right and they win the round. A 16-second round. This is fast for Street Fighter V. Soon after, I saw this clip from Rakurai playing Street Fighter Third Strike.
Final round, go!
Oh! 4-second KO.
A 4-second round. It made me wonder if anything like this could happen in Street Fighter V and ask the question, what is the fastest possible round in Street Fighter V? Before I go on, try and take a guess as to what you think the fastest round possible is. And this is not necessarily realistic or likely to happen, but the fastest round possible. Let's start by gathering some information first. Going back to that clip we just saw, keep track of the timer. The round length is actually about 5 real seconds long. The screen freeze is about 1 second long, and it seems that the in-game timer stops during the screen freeze. But in Street Fighter V, nothing stops the timer. Not screen freezes, critical art animations, or hit freeze. Let's now look at ways of dealing massive damage fast in Street Fighter V. This Brian F clip shows how Abigail could KO Dhalsim in one combo. And this Broski clip uses tools to force the best RNG on Tengu stones to KO Akuma in one combo as well. But there are some problems with both of these clips. Firstly, their critical art animations are very slow. They also both use V-triggers. The only thing that carries over between rounds is EX meter. Also, this means that if we want to use EX meter, we'll need to build it in a previous round. The opponent will usually be set to Akuma, Seth, or Cammy, since they all have tied lowest health in the game at 900. This means they are the fastest to KO. Instead of combos, what about massive damaging moves instead? There is G's idle animation, which deals 500 damage and you can combo after it. But this takes about a minute of waiting. Likewise, Balrog's final tap deals 370 damage and you can combo after it too. But it also takes about a minute to charge. There are faster massive damaging moves though. There is R. Mika's V-skill, which if charged up for about 12 seconds will multiply the damage on her next command grab enough to instantly KO. A 15-second round. Already a slight improvement over the Street Fighter League Japan clip, but there is still a long way to go. There is also Dan's legendary taunt. During this, Dan takes multiplied damage, and in its final moments he takes 5 times more damage than normal. A 13-second round. These are neat and fast, but still take too long to set up. It looks like we may need to go back to somewhat normal looking rounds. Let me pick my main and just wail on the opponent not blocking. A 12-second round. Already better, but having my specials knocked down wastes time as the opponent is stuck in a recovery animation. So let's pick a character better for the situation. To pick what character we'll be using, let's look back at critical arts for a moment. Not all critical arts are slow, since some of them don't lock into a cinematic. In particular, Akuma and Balrog are special. This is because not only are they very fast, but they are a single hit. This means their full damage output is finished faster. There is another benefit to this that I'll explain later. We will use Balrog for now, just because I know his specials are quite damaging and quick. Let's start by spamming specials and see where that gets us. Remember, we aren't looking for realistic rounds, just the fastest. A 9-second round. Well, that's a big improvement already. This is why Balrog can deal damage fast. His specials keep him close to the opponent and don't knock down. Despite being a charge character, the total time it takes to complete the special gives him enough time to charge another special. We can confirm this by going to SFV diff, selecting Balrog, going to the current patch, finding the move we want. Here we can see that the move takes 40 frames to charge, and we can click on the script to see more detailed information about the move. From here, if we navigate our way to the hitbox of the move, we can see even more detailed information about it. Here, there is a lot of extra information, but what we want is the hit freeze information. This is how long in frames a character freezes when they are hit. If we add this to the total amount of frames the move has, we will know how long the move takes in total, and we can look up the total frames on a website, like FAT. So now we know that heavy dash straight takes 56 frames to complete. This is longer than the 40 frames of charge it requires, so we are sure that the moves are coming out as fast as possible. I use these two websites a lot and will be pulling my data from them for optimization. Back to spamming moves. We don't want to be doing long combos, since that will make each successive move deal less damage. If we optimize our damage output a little, we can get better results. A 8-second round.
Round 1. Fight.
Using cancels, we can get rid of a lot of recovery frames to go even faster. A 7-second round. Stunning the opponent is starting to hold us back. It is a forced knockdown that makes us wait before we can start attacking again. So we need to find a way of dealing more damage, but less stun. Let's look back at critical arts, since they deal no stun. I said there was a reason Balrog's critical art was useful, and this comes from the fact that since it has one hit, counter hit damage is applied to the whole critical art instead of just the first hit. Balrog's critical art deals 340 damage if you hit it on the first frame, and 330 if it hits after the first active frame. So on counter hit, it deals 408 damage if you hit it on the first frame, and 396 if it hits after the first active frame. Just a reminder that counter hits deal 1.2 times damage. However, there is a way of dealing even more damage with it. During invincible EX reversals, characters are in a special counter hit state, where they take an additional 1.2 times damage, for a total of 1.44 times damage. This means that if Balrog hits Cammy while she is recovering from her EXDP, she will take 490 damage, or 475 if it hits after the first active frame, and this deals 0 stun. So stun won't matter if we can KO the opponent before they're stunned. The new plan now is to quickly rack up damage and then punish an EXDP with critical art. Something to remember is that characters take less damage the lower health they have. This is from Guts scaling. At around half health, you take 95% damage. At a quarter health, you take 90% damage. And when you have about 10% health left, you take 75% damage. This can be avoided if we deal the damage above the half health threshold. So to KO, we only need to deal 410 damage first, and then hit the critical art. But there is this strange quirk where if we deal exactly 410 damage, and then deal 490 for a total of 900, it doesn't KO. You need to deal one more damage. I think this is because the character's health doesn't go below 0 technically. I'm not too sure about this one. So we will just need to deal 411 damage instead. After looking up a lot of frame data, I chose this way to deal the damage. 3 counter hit medium dash straights and a counter hit crouch medium punch. This deals 432 damage. After that, I just need to avoid the EXDP and critical art for the KO. It should come in under 360 frames, or a 5-second round. I tried to do this myself by doing Balrog's combo, then pausing, swapping controllers, unpausing and doing Cammy's EXDP, and then pausing, swapping controllers again, and then finally unpausing and doing critical art. A 6-second round. I was slightly slow because of all of the pausing. I realized that this was needlessly complicated, so I grabbed my friend Godly Effect to help me out. I gave them the rundown of what we needed to do, and then we did this.
Hey! Look at that! You did it!
A 5-second round, leaving 94 on the clock by a few frames. But this can technically be optimized further. Going forward, I'll be using training mode since I don't want to have to spend all the extra time building meter to attempt the combos. but I will make sure that all the combos are possible in a real round. For frame of reference, above 360 frames is a 6-second round, and since 60 frames makes 1 real second, below 300 frames is a 4-second round. The KO we just got was 355 frames long. My first step to improving the time was to swap the opponent to Seth. Seth's EXDP has the least invincibility of the 900 health characters, which would let us hit them sooner. Also, let me use this graphic to explain how Balrog's critical art will interact with Seth's EXDP. Each square represents a frame of Seth doing EXDP. The red squares are Seth still in recovery from being hit, the green squares are the startup frames of EXDP, the yellow frames are the active frames, which go on further, but we only need the ones that are close to the invincible frames. The invincible frames are indicated with the eyes above the frames. So if I pull in the first part of Balrog's critical art's frame data, we can see how and when they will interact. If Balrog does critical art too soon, he will lose his invincibility and get hit. If he does it 1 frame before Seth's EXDP, they will both run out of invincibility on the same frame and will trade. If they start on the same frame, Balrog will hit Seth cleanly, but this will be after the first active frame and deal less damage. To get the hit with the first active frame of critical art, Balrog needs to start it on the 3rd startup frame of Seth's EXDP. This is hard to execute since Balrog is plus after hitting Seth, so using reversal timing doesn't work. So a manual delay is needed to land on the 1 frame needed. And the reason we are plus is because we are trying to deal damage fast, and hitting your opponent leaves you plus. So we just have to land the 1 frame timing. The first optimization I tried was to use a faster damaging sequence and then the non-first frame critical art. Using heavy dash straights instead and a light kick gave me the damage, and then a trade critical art was already an improvement. But I realized going for the first frame on critical art means I don't need the extra damage. So I went back to the first damage sequence, but got the first frame critical art. This was 331 frames long. I rearranged the sequence so it didn't end on crouching medium punch. Crouching medium punch is +6 on counter hit, and medium dash straight is +4 on counter hit. This helps since all of Balrog's moves are done on reversal timing, so I am stuck waiting for Seth to do a reversal EXDP after I've done my damage sequence. The less time Seth is recovering, the faster the combo. This saved 2 frames for 329 frames long. I then realized I could optimize the damage and final recovery frames even more by making the moves combo. Doing 2 medium dash straights and then comboing the counter hit crouch medium into heavy dash straight would save a lot of time. The sequence now ends +2 and the recovery of medium punch is cancelled. I need to use heavy dash straight to make up for the loss of damage from combo scaling, since comboed moves deal less damage. This was 319 frames long. This next optimization was kind of obvious, but I forgot it at the time. The second dash straight leaves Balrog close enough to use stand medium punch, which is 1 frame faster than crouching medium punch. This saves 1 more frame for 318 frames long. After all of this, the next optimization was unfortunately to do something completely different. I originally disregarded Balrog's tap, since it takes too long to charge up under normal circumstances. But the shorter versions don't take that long to charge and are quite damaging specials. Initially, looking at the frame data, I thought the charge time to make it deal more damage than a medium or a heavy dash straight was too long. But then I did this.
Round 1. Fight!
Did you hear that? Balrog at round start said 2. Level 2 tap takes 121 frames to charge, but I did it at round start. This is because you can actually start charging moves as soon as the screen starts to fade in and through the round announcement. To test this would be very hard, so I just wanted a baseline assumption. My testing showed that there are nearly 200 frames of time to charge before a round starts. Since level 3 tap needs 241 frames to charge, I should be able to do this before the clock shows 98. Since the number would change after 60 frames, and I only needed 40 frames more of charging. And surprisingly, I was able to. This showed me that as long as I didn't use level 3 tap for at least the first 60 frames of my combo, it would be technically possible in a real round. So I went back into training mode and made a new damage sequence. Counter hit heavy dash straight, counter hit medium dash straight, and counter hit level 3 tap. It does N+4, but it is as good as it can be with these special moves, and after stringing it all together, I got this. A 317 frame round, 1 frame faster. Remember when I said this 2 minutes ago?
This next optimization was kind of obvious, but I forgot it at the time.
Well, while spell checking and fact checking this video, I found a small mistake. When I swapped crouching medium punch for standing medium punch, I forgot that standing medium punch deals more damage. This means that the final heavy dash straight could be swapped back to a medium dash straight for optimal time and damage. And since medium dash straight takes 6 frames less to complete, we would get this. A 312 frame round, or 5.2 seconds long. To my knowledge, this is the fastest possible round that you can get in a real Street Fighter V match, and I can't think of any other character that has fast enough damage output to be used instead of Balrog. I did consider making the opponent one of the 925 health characters, but Kage's EXDP has more invincibility than Seth's, Karen's EXDP moves her too vertically too quickly, and Ibuki only has 1 frame less of invincibility on her EXDP than Seth. So to save 1 frame, an extra 22 damage would be needed in the same time. And I already can't think of anything more damaging, let alone faster. And after spending a crazy amount of time on this, I'm pretty sure there is no way. So going back to my original questions at the beginning of the video, can anything like Rakurai's round happen in Street Fighter V? Yes, it can. So what is the fastest possible round in Street Fighter V? A 5-second round. Technically it is a 5.2 second round, or 312 frames long. Making this video was very fun since it pulled out all of my knowledge of the game and its systems in a very satisfying way. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And if you think there is any optimization that I missed, even by a single frame, please let me know. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed.